How you doing? And welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando, Thursday, May the 2nd, 7:13 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us. We are how long? How many? We're about 7 people on X so far, 3 people on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. We also have our people from Instagram as well live. Thank you to Jake Orozco and Kim Scott for joining in. You drop us your comment. So this is do or die. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I have my lightsaber ready. I can't reach it as I haven't really managed to. Guys, I hate to break it down to you guys. I'm a Sith. So
You're
use
with the
dark.
dark side.
I'm with the dark. I'm with the
Wow.
dark side. I like dark chicken
Wow.
too.
I mean, Darth Maul was always my favorite, so
That's
I
right.
can
I know,
I
right?
yeah, I was yeah, but that's not
They
my
look so much cooler. I'm telling you.
90s 2000s child, the Darth Maul,
Exactly.
you know.
Darth
Yeah.
Vader. Exactly. So, um, it's gonna be a tough road ahead for the Lions. We're facing a team that they have very good players, a very good squad, a very good organization like FC Cincinnati, and we'll discuss all of that. What does Orlando City need to do to get the 3 points? A lot of people I know are very disillusioned and already threw the season away. I've heard a bunch of stuff, but we're here to tell you that you know it's up to our players. It's up to Orlando City players to turn this around. And I think, this is football. We could win, we could lose. It's soccer, right? So there's a winner, there's a loser, there's a draw. So all the scenarios are possible, right? So we'll discuss all of that and more. How are you, John? What are your expectations coming up this game?
I'm good, man. I literally just took off my pride hat before we were talking. I put on my city hat. So I feel like these weeks with all these games going on and all I'm just like every day of the week is something. It's like we're either potting or I'm going to the game or like there's something going on. So
Welcome to my
great
life.
great to be busy all the time. But I would say, there's there's reasons still to be hopeful. I don't want to give up. I'm not that kind of person. And I agree. I think that this is another chance against a team. Yes, they are high up in the table, and we are low down in the table. But anything can happen in 90 minutes of soccer. We need to, like you said, keep believing in our team, keep believing in our coach, and keep believing in the players that they can turn this around. That we can do something because I'm not ready to give up yet. And I'm ready to throw in the towel or be like, okay, I wanna make a change. We've talked about that. So, it's just a case of trying to stay positive, Luis. Sometimes things don't go your way. Like last game, we were winning for majority of that game, and then we threw it all away. So anything can happen. This we could be losing the entire of this game and then turn it around and win it at the last minute. We just don't know. So I'm hopeful for the weekend. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's going to be a tough road ahead because after Cincy, we got I believe Philly, and then we have Inter. So I mean, May is going to be the month that's going to determine the momentum of the team moving forward.
I
So I
mean,
know
do or die is the
it's
exact
do or
right.
die.
It's yeah, now or never, Luis, because this run is killer.
You could say it's ready or not, here I come too. You can hide, gotta find. Sorry, we're just it feels like we're quoting songs here.
We
But
could we could just quote a bunch of songs.
yeah, right. It's gonna be May, right? It's gonna be May, right? So definitely, it's gonna be tough. But I have some ideas. I think that we could definitely push them. And the first person that we need to definitely, we have the press conference, we have the training footage. Do you want to check that out first, or you want to just go straight to Cincy right now?
I'm happy to look at the press conference and training footage
Okay, so
first.
let's look at the
Yeah.
press conference. So today they trained at OHP,
Yeah.
and clearly, I've usually when I post these, I never post a pre-game presser because typically
I mean,
we're
like,
gonna
what are you gonna say? Like,
right,
there's not a
but
lot of
because
information.
unfortunately, people are yearning the info. Some fans want to know like what the hell's going on with the team.
Well,
You know,
they want more explanation of what happened last game. You know.
right? And so we have it right here. You guys can go. And so let's see. So this is the training, and I saw some cool things here in the training that I will push. First, you said Freeman working out right here. That's Alex Freeman right there. Um, we also see Fabian Loyola. So I mean, it seems like there's a good, good. They're laughing. Now they're allowed to laugh, guys. Don't take this the wrong way. I mean, they're humans. They're allowed to do the rondos and laugh. See, that's Abdi, Kyle, Cesar. There you go. Yeah. And this is the first good thing that I saw. David Brecalo training. So that to me says I don't know if he'll be a starter, but I have a feeling he probably will be. I mean, he didn't look like he was slowing down. He didn't look like he was doing you see he's his usual self. So hopefully this little thing was just a big bruise knock, wasn't nothing like majorly serious, because when I first saw him, I thought he re-injured himself, like the same injury he had before. He re-injured himself, which is devastating for a player. What are your thoughts regarding that, John? Brecalo back?
It's great news. I mean, he came off the game and we were looking a little bit worried. We were concerned what's going to happen. I think a lot of people point to the fact that before we signed him, Luis, he was undergoing surgery. Like, he just had surgery, and there was a lot of speculation as like, well, should we sign a guy that has recently been injured? But I think with any player signing, there's always a level of like injury risk with them. Some have less and more, and it's up to the GMs and the head coach, to decide like, okay, is this enough of a risk for us, like, to take this or not? And that could be a balancing act. You can get it right, you can get it wrong. But Brecalo is one that we hope they got it right, and we hope that he's able to stay fit and continue. But after last game, we're like, oh no, having had him injured, well, not injured, but he took a while to get into the team, and then he went down again. So great to see that he's not down completely. He is wearing like some kind of knee strap or something in the footage. So I'm hopeful that he's going to be in the back line on Saturday, Luis, because I think he's
Yeah.
growing into this league. He's growing into this team. And every game that he plays, he gets a little bit better, I think, for us. So um, I want him to, and we need that consistency in the back line. So it would be massive if he's back, and hopefully he's ready to go on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him back. Honestly, it's good that it wasn't serious. I mean, yeah, it was probably obviously. I bet it hurt like hell. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I kind of in a way I understand why Oscar, and his staff took him out of the game. It just made a lot of sense, for that to happen. And but it's good to see him train, and he's definitely going to be. I mean, it's either him or Rodri, right? It's either him or Rodri. I mean, Rodri did good the last game. I feel.
I think some people were blaming him on like, the last goals, but I blame the whole team for that, man. I think they all fell apart. They
Look.
all
I was
fell apart.
actually
Like,
doing some
he wasn't
digging.
helping, but I don't completely blame him.
No, I don't completely blame it either. And I'm gonna say here we are the fifth. We're in the top five or most goals allowed in the whole league. and that is not just one player.
Well,
Unfortunately,
as
it
a
has to.
player who hasn't been playing a huge amount, like he's been playing some, but not all the time, you know.
Right. So I actually would say, according to Footy Stats, you guys can check them out, foodystats.org. The team with most goals allowed, 25 goals conceded so far, San Jose Earthquakes. Second, Portland Timbers with 21 goals. Third, New England Revolution. Fourth, Nashville. We're actually tied with them. And then fifth. So we got to get better than that. Last year, we were one of the best defenses in the league. And, it's almost the same players. So I do say that needs to improve tremendously. Like, there needs to be a change right away. What do you think you attribute this decline, John?
It's hard to say, man. I mean, last year we were hard to beat in the latter half of the year, mainly I think because of the double pivot. And I feel like the back line felt very secure with them in front of them, and there was lots of confidence in the back line. And this year we don't have that level of confidence. We don't have the midfield. It's starting to get back like the last few games. The double pivot is there, but it's just we've started out badly and never really got going, and that can happen to you. You know, it can be difficult to get that real run of form together. I think the biggest thing though is we can't defend for a full 90, and that's the really frustrating part. And like last game, we were we were just gave up at not gave up the end, but we just threw it away at the end, and it's frustrating because we need to see out these points through games right now. So we can't be doing that. We can't be going down and conceding goals early, which is something we've been doing a lot as well. It's hard to say exactly what I attribute it to. I don't know if Oscar's really changed the tactics of how we're defending. It just seems to me more like we just aren't being difficult to beat. We aren't having that sort of, grit mentality, that sort of, determination in the box to win the ball or to make the tackle or to get the save or whatever. We're just not putting in that level needed of intensity, I believe, in defense. If we were Luis, that last goals in the last game, they wouldn't happen because somebody would have got to that ball and hit it away, or Pedro would have claimed it, or someone would have got out there to help Kyle to not allow the cross to come in, or whatever you want to say, however you want to point it out. If we were being the defensively solid team we were last year, we wouldn't be having these big lapses and allowing teams, and it's multiple goals a game is the thing, Luis. It's not like there's one mistake. Like there's several mistakes a game, and it usually costs us one or two goals a game, whether that's individually or as a team.
I mean, it's terrible what I'm about to say, but I mean, to me, one of the key things in this game is for us to play as we're visitors in our own stadium in this game. I think our defense needs to be compact. They need to stay in position, and we need to have our mids and our attacking third to function. Because I see one of the reasons why we've gotten those goals is because our defense is so far down, almost in the half, in the half line, right? So we can be doing that in every single game because then, I don't know if you saw Raul Rudias's goal, Sounders versus, yeah, I mean, he had a, he had like almost like a half court like shot that went in. It's because their keeper was almost like it looked like a center back. He was like right there, way far from the box. And yeah, so this team that we're gonna face, to me, they're tougher competition. They're probably one of the toughest competition we're gonna face, and it doesn't get any easier because then You have Philly, which they're having some bad games. They'll be having some bad games, but they're still Philly. And then after that, we have to do Inter. So it's a tough road ahead for the Lions. So let's continue with the video right here. So right now we see there's another thing I wanted to show. Look at Muriel, right? With Nico, and then assist to Jacqueline. Jacqueline, according to the video, he scored 2 goals. That's look at that. Assist to Jacqueline. So Muriel assisted to Jacqueline on. So Jacqueline seemed pretty active in this game. Jacqueline seemed pretty active in this practice right here, and also we saw Mikey Holiday back. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think we're going to see Jacqueline having minutes? To me, this tells me that he's going to have minutes.
I think the thing is that we know Muriel is. I just don't think he's working as a one guy striker on his own.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, this shows me that like Oscar's like, okay, maybe he's like, I'm gonna have to go back to something where we give Muriel a partner, and I don't know if it's gonna be Duncan or Jack or whatever, but if you're gonna start a partnership, it almost makes more sense if Duncan's going to leave or whatever. I know everyone wants to keep him here, but I don't know if he's going to want to stay here. But the point being, Muriel as a lone striker in Austin's system, so maybe this is an indication of what we might see on on the weekend, that Oscar wants to put someone up next to Muriel to play next to him, to play off of him, to have a strike partner like we did for those few games where we played the 4-4-2. But again, it's going to take time to develop that partnership on the field. Maybe Jacqueline's going to get the start. I don't really see it, Luis, honestly. I think there's a lot of excitement around the guy, but it doesn't seem to. Oscar is,
He's
hierarchy is important.
Right.
Hierarchy seems important to Oscar, and often even if Jacqueline is doing well, or he seems to pick, he'll pick Duncan and Muriel to play 2 up front, I think, before he'll pick Jack.
No,
whether that's right or wrong, I just think that's what he'd do.
Yeah, definitely. I have a feeling that depending on how the game goes, he's gonna give minutes to Jacqueline. It's just.
I feel like off the bench, he's definitely like an asset. When you go, if you want to go like 2 up top later, then you bring Jack on to partner one of them.
Now, also you have to understand there's little or no film on Jacqueline. So that's another, the unpredictability of who is Jacqueline. Just like last season, was there any film on Duncan McGuire? There was no film on Duncan McGuire.
Well, Jack's got a bit more film because of OCB. Like they can look at.
Yeah, but
it's not like
right, but you cannot. Yeah, but you cannot take OCB with.
No,
you cannot.
I feel like
it's a
he is a wild card in some ways. Yes, I'll give you that.
So another thing is in this video, it was Mason Staduhar shown on here. Mason was on here practicing. Now, right there. Did he hit him balls from the penalty spot? There you go. So before we go with Oscar's words, it's good to see Mason back for sure. So, and I do want to comment on something real quick that I really, really didn't like. Everybody acting holier than thou online. Like, it's sickening. And then putting stuff about his private life. And then also I got messages saying, "Hey, you should talk about this." I was like, "No, I'm not going to talk about this." That's up to the club to to make a statement whenever they want to do. That's not my thing. That's bad journalism. So just FYI. So
I think
uh,
people think because he's a player that they want to dive deep into
yeah, it's
their
like
personal life, but it's like anybody that, they got something going on, they don't want to share it with you, that, obviously,
so in
and you kind of
Spanish,
respect that, right? I would say, like,
right?
yes, like, obviously, like, we need to be aware, like, the club will have to be aware, like, it's
Yeah,
part, if
I'm
he's not gonna be
sure.
able to play, if it's an issue for that, yeah, of course, there's that aspect, but, I think making judgments on his
Yeah.
character based on the evidence you have, which is nothing of what happened from that
No,
incident, like, very little that we know about what happened, then I think it's a little
no,
little
no,
presumptive to
no,
say, "Oh, I know what Mason did or whatever happened." You don't.
no, and not only that, they're taking that. The worst part is they're taking that and they're saying the group is broken. Oscar cannot handle the locker room. You know what I mean? Like drama queens. I'm gonna call you out.
I'll
Drama
say
queen.
this: most of the players don't go out downtown.
Drama
This
queen.
is a like Mason is probably in the
Yeah.
minority of our players that are like want to go out and like drink, and he should be able to do that. That's his life. He's do what he
Yeah.
wants
I mean,
outside. Like,
yeah.
don't get in incidents with the police, sure, but like, a lot of the players are family people. They're not out there, on a weekend tearing it up. It's not really the
Yeah.
scene of
And,
this player group.
right. And just saying that the group's disbanded and that Oscar cannot handle the locker room and blah, 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 blah. Like that to me, that's spreading false news, fake news, and it's bad, you know. And in Spanish, there's a word that describes perfectly this. It's called cagón. No seas cagón. You know, be respectful, right? Be respectful. No seas cagón, right? So let's read. Let's continue. Let's read a comment here from Joshua Tall. If we win and things go our way, we could possibly be 1 point of eighth and seventh. Also, we could possibly be 2 points out uh, of the six. There you go. There you go. So let's keep reading. Let's keep watching this right here, real quick. Let's see what Oscar said.
See, looking back at the Toronto game, that you can use to bounce back this weekend against Cincinnati?
Um, I think the most important part after that one game is recognize what really happened. And I thought the boys played well, and they had a good game. It was part of the second half where we lost control of the ball, but we were in a good shape in any way. It's difficult to keep 90 plus minutes on you being dominating the game as we did in the first half. That worries us, and then trying to correct it though, because the ambition is just to be consistent during the whole game, and correcting the errors that we had at the end as well. That's probably the most painful part of it. But the boys just keep going. They're trying to get better. We understand it, and now we have another rival with and a high caliber too. But we just keep going.
As you look at Cincinnati, obviously you got results against them last year, very similar shape, same coach and all that. What do you think you're expecting from them?
Right, Cincinnati, they had a model that is very concrete. We know it. We have played them already last year. This coach hasn't changed much. I don't see many changes on.
So they know. So he knows how the Cincinnati plays. This is good. This is good. Let's continue.
On the squad or the way they do it, and we are we're conscious about what we need to do good, and it's always a good match against them, and as I say, they have done a good job during the past years, so we have done it too, and we'll see. Cómo mejorar eso. Yeah. Como
Players, last week we saw the wingers switched for about an hour in the game. What else can you do to create more volume in the opposition box so that you you have more than a 1-goal lead? You know, we talked about
Mhm.
that.
It's a great question, Evan.
To have a little more comfort in these games going forward.
We have a team that is always in evolution. We hope, and sometimes when you see scenarios like we have so far in this start of the season, it seems like it's not an evolution, but it's an involution. But nothing of both is real. It's just the dynamic of the game. That if we see the metrics, there's many games that we should have won it, and probably others that which you have lost it, and history when we win it, and then probably we didn't deserve it. So it's just being conscious about how can we solve the problems that we have at the moment and create some alternatives, and we're going to keep trying it. Is those things that you saw in the game, the interchange of the wingers, and
So, so what he's trying to say is the three people. So the 10, the left wing, and the right wing. And I know probably if Cincinnati's watching, they're probably going to clip this. What they do is they switch positions constantly. Now, last game, and I don't know if that was apparent to me. I don't know how you felt, John. I felt Ivan Angulo stayed on the right wing almost the whole game. And I was like, yo, if you're switching, like you're supposed to at least go to your left because that's where you've been playing usually the most. And that's where I feel he feels the most comfortable. Well, what do you think about that? Do you think that's working?
I don't think it's ever worked. I don't believe in it. I hate it. Honestly, I absolutely hate it. It drives me insane, Luis, because I think if you have 3 incredible attacking mids, yes, you can do that. If you're Man City or Liverpool and you've got
Arsenal,
and you've got your Man City, you got Phil Foden and you're like Bernardo Silva and whoever else, you want to rotate those 3 around. Sure, they can all play those positions, but I'm sorry, Angulo is a winger. He's not a 10, so he can't go in the middle. So that never happens. I've never seen Angulo in the middle. He just goes left to right. So this idea that they all 3 changed around, that doesn't happen. That's a lie. What I saw last game, which was way better, was playing the wingers as wingers instead of playing them as like inverted wingers. So playing Faco on the left with his left foot is how we got the goal, with his left-footed cross. And everybody's figured out when he's on the right wing and he cuts in on his left foot. So he just does that from the right wing. So there's no point in putting him on the right wing because they're just going to find that out. So just keep him on the left wing where he's able to actually like run into the space with the ball. I think Ivan looked better on the right wing, just again being a right winger up and down the right side. Maybe switch them if you really want to, but don't mess around with your 10. Leave the 10 where he is, and moreover that, just leave Ojeda there.
Ojeda.
Just leave Ojeda there the whole freaking game.
It should be.
I'm over the switching around. Like it just doesn't work. I don't like it.
Wholeheartedly agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think to me, and I was about to say that too about him staying on the left because he's left-footed, and then Ojeda on the 10, perfect, and then Angulo on the right. Right now, does he feel maybe Dagger and Angulo don't mix, and maybe so those are little things that we gotta do it.
They'll learn, and Dagger can go inside. So if Angulo's running that right wing, Dagger can still play the inside inverted. Like I don't know. I think we miss having Angulo to help out at left back if you do that, because he was doing a lot of that, and that especially last game. That's why Kyle had no support without Angulo there. So I don't know. I've got a few ideas about how you could change this entire thing, Luis, and solve a lot of problems. I think maybe we'll do a lineup and I'll I'll throw you my
Yeah,
crazy
yeah, and
idea.
we'll. I have some opinions also
But I
on
think at this point,
what
the
to do.
idea they all switch around it's
Let's see
nice,
how
but I don't think it works.
Yeah,
trying to be precise on
let's
that
see what Robert
decision
Johnson said.
is my
You know, a lot has been said already about last week. How do you guys bounce back? Again, you get a home game here against a good Cincinnati team.
First of all, it was a hard one to take with dropping those 3 points that late in the game. But it's just to take it in, move forward, and go through what happened, and then go to the next one. It's the same as when we win. We have to go through what happened in those games, what we did good, what we could do better, and then move on to the next one. So in this case, it's the same, and of course, it's sucking a little bit of energy out of us getting a loss like that. But that's normal. We're gonna bounce back, and have had a couple of good days training here, and trying to get on the back on the right path again.
So when you did watch the film, what are you guys seeing week to week now that is not letting you have the same defensive solidity that this team has been known for over the years since you've been here?
That's a great question, Evan.
I think we are getting a lot of transitions against us, and I think overall we've been bad in our own box and also in our attacking box. We are not, how do you say, good enough in defensive box and the attacking box. So we have to work together as a unit to be better all over the field too. How we can control the game, calm down the game, like in the end, to not get those type of situations.
When you look at, speaking of looking ahead now, if you look at Cincinnati, a team that you got results against last year, but obviously still a very good team. What do you kind of see from them that maybe differs from last year, or they kind of caused you problems last year?
No, we know some small details about them. We're gonna have a video here later on to get from the staff to go through how they play. We have the basics of what they do, but we do know that they have some good players. That Costa guy there in the middle, linking the attacking guys together. We know he's good, and we need to be prepared on that one. And then we're gonna prepare.
He's so great. He's like, the Acosta guy right there in the middle.
That MVP candidate last year, Costa guy. A little 10 guy that runs around.
Little short guy right there. With a little dreadlocks. A little short
disrespect
guy.
Lucci. Yeah. I love it.
That's awesome.
During the last couple of days here into the game, so we're gonna be prepared and we're gonna go for the 3 points.
There you go. So sorry, I have to keep it cool, but talking about keys to winning this game, and just to kind of talk about Cincinnati right now. Obviously, the first question is Lucio Acosta, right? So Lucio Acosta right now is MVP candidate again, but everything in Cincinnati's attack, for what I've seen, revolves on Luciano Acosta. So, he has 4 goals, 5 assists so far. So right now he's pretty much, he has almost similar numbers to, he has better numbers than Duncan Maguire, which is a top scorer right now. So if we look at our midfielders like Facu, Ivan, Nico, they'll have 1 goal, 2 assists. Martin Ojeda has 0 goals and only 1 assist. And Luis Muriel, 0-0. So I feel that the most important piece here is going to be our back line and our double pivot. So our mid. Our defensive midfielders need to stop Acosta at all costs. Now, I know that we're on the verge of this Copa America. Copa America is not yet in a month. So Cartagena will be there. He needs to stop Acosta. Everything to mark him out of the match, keep him from scoring. And I mean, I know this is going to sound stupid, but we have to do it during 90 minutes. because they're not gonna take him out. Cincinnati takes Acosta out when they're winning the games. But if let's say if the game is a very friction, like there's a lot of friction in the game, a lot of back and forth. Luciano Acosta is gonna play the whole game if needed be. So you need to withstand that pressure 90 minutes. I don't know, what are your thoughts regarding Luciano Acosta, John?
I mean, that guy, Acosta, that guy.
Does the 10 that we needed.
I mean, yeah, you said it all, man. He's the number 10. He's their guy. Everything runs around him. So you got to stop him. And they've got some other, key talents around him but he's the guy that feeds. He's the guy that all runs through. He's the guy that we don't have on our team, Luis. That's how I'll
Yeah.
explain that the best is we need that guy. And I'm hoping Ojeda will become our Costa, but we need to see a good defensive performance from Wilder and Cesar for sure. They gotta stick to him like glue, and both
Correct.
of them have got to cover him. I don't know if it's gonna be one of them is like, hey, you're just gonna follow him, but I don't think Oscar works that way. I think it'll be more like territorial when he's on the left or the right side of the field. But both of them have got to track him because he'll drift out wide and connect play, or he'll make runs in behind into the box. So he's a danger, but we've played him before, so they should be familiar with this game.
Now, another part of Cincinnati that we need to watch out, in my opinion, it's their defense. They have one of the best defense in the league right now. They've only allowed, according to data that I have here, about 9 goals this season. So right now they got the best center back from Atlanta, which is Miles Robinson. They got Matt Miazga. They have Ian Murphy, DeAndre Jetlin from Miami, and Luca Orellano, which killed it in Liga MX. So our attacking third, look at the players I'm going to mention: Torres, Gulo, Ojeda, Lodero, Maguire, Muriel. Not only they're, I mean, this whole tiki taka stuff they're doing on the attacking third, like they're overpassing the ball, that ain't gonna cut it because they're gonna recover the ball right away. They're gonna have to create quality chances. I mean, it is what it is. On top of that, Orlando needs to convert, which is something that they have not done this season, in my opinion. So, if our defense gives away goals and then we're not scoring goals, then it is a win-win for Cincinnati, right, John?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yep.
it's we gotta, like Jensen said, we have to be better in both boxes, and that's both scoring and I mean that's where we're losing winning games, Luis. Last game, look at those 2 goals. Both, it's situations where the ball's already in the box, coming into the box, and they're not dealing with it. And then the same at the other end. I feel like we have so many chances where we're ticky-tacking around all the way up the field, and we're almost we're in the box and we don't shoot. Like we have those opportunities, we don't make the right decision, we don't make the pass. I think transition is our best friend, Luis. It always has been. With this team and the way that we play, like if we play too much possession, we don't have the ability right now, I think, to break down teams and go through them that way. So we've got to have a bit of a transition game where it opens up, or else for me, I don't see us being able to win. Break, especially like you said, the Cincy backline. Like it's very, very strong. They play 5 at the back essentially. I mean, you've got 2 wing backs, but good, solid defensive unit. Nwobodo in front of them as well. it's not going to be easy to break them down when they're all back there positioned and, defensively disciplined like they are. They're going to make it very, very difficult for us to break down their lines. So I think the only chance we have of scoring on these guys is in transition, and that's where we need to bring them out. And we'll talk maybe a bit more about this later, but suck them into a defensive trap almost, and then spring it against them on the counter. It might be our best option.
You wrote on the notes, that we usually share on our group, about Yuya Kubo.
Yeah, Yakubo and Baird up front. They're a problem. The other one is Bepenza, but there was some news, Luis. Did you see that news that came out today? Aaron Bepenza. Yeah, so breaking news. Play the breaking news music, Luis. I mean,
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hold on. Where is this? Breaking news. Breaking news. Here we go.
Love it. Well, it was broken earlier today by Tom Bogert, who says, sources, FC Cincinnati forward Aaron Bepenza suffered a broken jaw being punched in the face outside Cincinnati bar in the early hours of Monday morning.
I should not be laughing about this.
No comments. But first thing I thought was like, well, it happens to everybody. Look at that. So, right, as Mason's getting into trouble, Aaron Bepenza's getting into trouble, right? At least, there's reports here that he got punched. At least Mason didn't get hit. Aaron took one to the face. So there you go. That's the difference. But it just shows that, that's good news for us, at least, because he's been, pretty good form for them and is a real danger with his speed and just the way that he is a very direct forward, Bepenza. So they're going to have to go with Kubo and Corey Baird, who are also doing pretty well. Corey Baird seems to have found a good place for him there where he's scoring goals. And Yaya Kubo is just, a danger always with his technical play.
Yeah, I mean, Yaya Kubo is a great player. And like I said, it's an overall really good team. I mean, obviously, we're not going to develop on what happened with Benza. Sucks that he got his job broken. Must have been.
I mean, it's good for us. He's not going to play now. So
was it Tyson Fury who he fought?
Put some ice on it, bro. Run it off. Come on.
Who did he fight, man? Like, I'm just curious to see who he dared to,
No idea.
Anyways, let's talk about Columbus's form because they come from winning against Colorado, which is always a tough opponent. Then they won against Atlanta. They won in Atlanta. Then they got defeated by Montreal, which is the same Montreal that gave us issues, and we lost also against them. And then they lost against the Red Bulls. So, I mean, they're not in. They've gotten better results that we have, clearly. So, what are your thoughts on their form, John?
Well, I think 2-1 like against Colorado. I don't think they score a huge amount of goals. That they are difficult to score against. I definitely get that from their games. It's quite tight games that they're in. But I think it's interesting that they lost to Red Bulls in Montreal, and obviously, we managed to get a draw against Red Bulls even with the form we were having at the time, and Montreal, again we got a draw against them. So I just think it shows that this East right now is teams are so up and down, and it's so difficult to say like, okay, who's really by the end of the year, who's going to be like the best in there. I think Cincy are up there, but I think it shows that maybe, Red Bulls and Montreal are better than we would consider, and maybe our results against them weren't as bad as we think. And it's always a question of like, okay, where are these teams actually going to end up by the end of the year? But it's positive, I think, that Cincy, having look at like how we played against teams that they've also played, it definitely gives me some positivity that we can go out and get a result against them. Why not? if these other teams that we've managed to draw or beat have done the same thing, why can't we also go get a result against Cincy at home, right? I mean, I know we're low down in the table and they're high up, but I don't want to think of this as a game we can't win.
No, for sure. I think this is a game that we can definitely win. It's just going to be a tough opponent. Again, it's going to be a tough opponent. We have the weapons to create danger in Cincinnati's back line, but they just got to be having a great game, and it has to be consistent. The problem with Orlando City this year is that, they're just not scoring goals and they're not defending well, which are two key parts of playing the sport, so Hunker Down says, ¿Qué pasa, amigos? Muriel seems he wants to play in the 10th spot, not the number 9. How about Duncan up top, Facundo and Ojeda on the wings, double pivot behind, Captain and Brecalo, Santos and Angulo windbags. There you go. Thank you, Hunker Down. Yeah, we'll discuss in just a little bit, but I think you're onto something for sure. Joshua Tall, let's win and turn things around on Saturday. We need to score first, but make sure to stay defensively compact. Christopher Bragdon says, will they mark Acosta? They have to. They have to neutralize Acosta. If they don't, then Cincinnati has a higher chance to win the game, in my opinion. I'm not trying to sound negative, but they're a pretty good team, guys, and we're not facing just any team. And then it's gonna get the road's gonna get tougher too. Christopher Brandon, we need to create space and not bunch up. Correct. It says we need to definitely not overpass in the box or near the PK box. Is Joshua Tall? Any chance we're gonna have Enrique back soon? No, they haven't. They haven't mentioned anything about Ramiro Enrique. Hunker down. We have to keep. We'll have to keep wide in attack, transition, and keep the backline spread out. There you go. Thank you. I'm too funny. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, man. I just try to have a good time. It says D. Thank you, D. Acosta's one card away from accumulation. There you go. That's a good thing to definitely take care of. So, he gets a yellow card, and so will he maybe be subbed because they're playing Columbus next. They have to go to Columbus.
I think he's not gonna. He's not really doing a lot of tackling anyway, right? He'll probably just play it safe. But maybe if we can wind him up, that would be good.
Yeah. So obviously Cincinnati is second in the standings with 18 points. That's one of the reasons why we're facing one of the top contenders in the East. And look at us right here.
13th. Wah, wah.
But look at Nashville, man. Feel bad
Talk about
Johnny.
Team that was like two teams there, both us and Nashville, and even New England were all like defensively good teams last year. Have all just fallen off a cliff.
No. Nashville. Feel bad for Nashville is Johnny Cash, little Johnny Cash's hometown. You know what I mean? But Orlando needs to get better, man. Definitely. I think three vital points at home, and then it doesn't get any easier for us because then after that we have Philly, which I want to give a shout out to a photographer that we're sending. Yes, LPO is going to be sending a photographer to Philly. Her name is Sophia Testa. So if she's watching, she's going to be taking pictures for us in that game, May 11th. And then May 15th, Wednesday, we face Inter Miami on a Wednesday night. Now, will this be packed, John? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's crazy. Let's read one more comment. I miss Enrique so much. Anytime he's available and he comes off the bench, it's a big spark. We're missing true speed, and with him, we're much better, says Luis Machado. Beautiful picture right there of, I think that's Explorer Stadium, I believe. Yeah, it is. So beautiful, beautiful stadium right there. Um, so you ready to do the? Are you ready to do the lineup?
Yep.
All right, let's do the lineup for next game. Oh, I do wanted to mention something that I was actually looking at for Cincinnati as well. They have a wild card also, just like we have a wild card, which is Jacqueline. They have a wild card as well. So, and I want to thank one of my colleagues also from so Venezuelan colleague. He gave me this. He told me, hey, you may want to talk about this in your Orlando show because he's probably gonna have minutes. And I was like, how do you know? Well, the Venezuelan national team is looking at him for a potential to play the qualifiers and possible Copa America. Who am I talking about? Um, Venezuelan forward Kevin Kelsey. It's not Travis Kelsey. It's Kevin Kelsey from Shakhtar Donetsk in Ukraine. He just got signed under a U22 initiative, and he's eligible to play according to my sources for against Orlando City. So he's 6'3". He's 19 years old and he's 6'3". So so we need to watch out on those set pieces because if the game is 0-0, minute 75, we may see who's that kid that's coming in. Kelsey in the back. You're gonna remember us talking about Kelsey. So Kelsey, he's one of these new weapons that Cincinnati has bought in as a Venezuelan starlet. The Venezuelan national team is looking at him to possibly join their not only their under 20s but also their national team to possibly play the qualifiers for USA 2026. So important there. So if let's do the lineup, John.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So Galese.
Yep, Pedro and goal.
All right, so here we go. Backline. Are we gonna see Brecalo?
I think so.
Yeah, let's put Brecalo. The Slovenian king. You got Jansen, right? Um, now your left back and right back.
Probably Santos. I think he did well.
Yeah.
Again, so maybe that's earned him enough trust for Oscar to put him back in for this game, and then Dagger Dan.
Yeah.
I know it could be
I
Kyle
think
Smith though. Oscar, he's been preferring Kyle this season at left back over Haffa, but I do think Haffa had a decent game when he was on last time, marking Bernadeschi. So maybe
I
he gets a
think
shot again.
I think because of the speed of their wingers, I believe that Santos is the best option here. So let's do the double pivot, right? Cesar and Wilder. Who's gonna be your 10, John?
It's got to be Ojeda.
Yep, I do want to see Martin Ojeda here as well. And I guess we're going with Facu on the left-footed, right?
Yep.
And then Angulo on the right.
Maybe if he keeps that, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think those three, regardless whether they play left or right.
And then right up top. Now people make fun of we call them El Toro, They call him La Vaca, they call him all this stuff online. Like, guys, don't be making fun of my guy right here. I guess to me, I think Oscar's gonna go for Duncan McGuire, man.
Yeah, I think Duncan is a good option. I don't really mind either way. I think we need Luis Muriel to to do something, whether he's starting or off the bench. It doesn't like last game. Everyone was like, "Yeah, look, we started Duncan," but all you do is just flip when Duncan's on the field, Duncan's scoring, and when Muriel's on the field, Muriel's not scoring. So whoever starts, like arguably, yes, they get more time in the game, but then again, I think Duncan's more effective as a sub when he comes on when their players or opposition are more tired. I don't know. I think everybody wants Duncan to keep starting because they don't want to see Muriel because he's not done anything. But
So
Oscar could go back to Muriel. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
I have a feeling that he's gonna be Duncan McGuire.
I think he'll get vilified if he starts Muriel. I think people will be pissed off if he starts.
Well, of course,
Muriel,
people will be pissed off. Yeah, of course, people will be pissed off. But also,
my point being is that you're not like it's not like Muriel is performing because you know what I mean. Like you're either way, one of them is scoring, whether they're on or off. Like doesn't matter. You've just traded one for the other, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think because of. I mean, how did Duncan do against Cincinnati in last game that we faced them?
He was okay. He was all right.
Because it's almost the same back too. Well, although Hagelin is injured, right? Hagelin is horrible, but Hagelin, even I think
we beat them away last year. That's like the last time we played Cincy.
So Orlando City, if we go and look last year, so we're looking at, so we won 1-0 in Cincinnati, and that lineup was, it was Hagelin, Miazga, and Murphy. So Hagelin won't be there. And so R9 was Duncan McGuire. Yep. And we have the same back four, except that instead of Schlegel, it was going to be Brecalo. So I feel it's going to be Duncan. I have a feeling it's going to be Duncan. And it has to stay that way. And it has to work. And I feel like Luis Muriel needs to come off the bench and be influential, you know, and work. And if it doesn't, then we stick with Duncan until we can say no, and then see our options. Aren't they going to increase the U22 initiative?
Well, they brought out today, their MLS released everybody's layout of how their squad looks and who's on what kind of contract, who's a DP, who's a U22, who's a TAM player, all of that. And it shows that we got players at the end of the year that are going to be out of contract. We'll be able to move things around. Even this summer, we'll be able to move things around. So, you know, I think that we'll probably be doing something in the summer just based on where we are. And we have, I think, like, we could use another fullback. You know, if Duncan leaves, we're definitely going to need another striker. Another, maybe even a center mid, or maybe go after that attacking mid that we all want. You know, like maybe, who knows? Anything can happen. Maybe Facu gets an offer that's decent enough from Europe, even though he's not playing well. It could still happen. Stranger things have happened. And then we could say, okay, we're going to let Facu go. And then that changes our whole makeup. And we're looking at a summer, you know, change around. I don't have the answers. I don't think anything is like right or wrong at this point. I think we'll know more when we get to the summer window about what we really need. And we'll know more about what Duncan's thinking. Like a lot of people are hopeful that we can keep him here. Like, you know, if we throw money at him, but I don't think it's about the money for Duncan. We said this before. I think he's more interested in going to Europe. So yes, I want to give him a chance at, you know, to try and keep him here, give him a better offer, whatever. But I think his mind is made up. So if that's the case, I say let him go. But then we got to figure out where these goals are coming from, and that definitely is going to need some, you know, input, at least maybe Jacqueline. But right now, Muriel is not bringing any goals to the table. So if we lose Duncan, we got no, you know, Jacqueline's our best striker at that point, honestly. Like, he's the one who's providing. So we're gonna have to figure that out in the summer. But for now, let's just keep going and see where we are at that point and what our needs are at that point. Most importantly, in the team, like what part of the team do we can fix with the budget, and what part of the team is most needed to be fixed at that point.
I agreed. I think we need one more defender. Also, we need a striker. I mean, there's so many options right now. Jim D says if it works, Oscar tends to change it up a little. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. So the lineup against Cincinnati, predicted line for LPO is Galicia up top, Dagordan, Brecalo, Jensen, Santos, Araujo, Cartagena, Martino Heda on your 10, Faco on your left, Angulo on your right, and then up top, Duncan McGuire. I think it's a solid lineup. I think that's the most solid lineup we have right now. So ride the Duncan wave as long as we have until Muriel starts scoring, hopefully. If not, just try to get another striker and then renegotiate Muriel.
Yeah. I mean, there's the buyout. Like, honestly, if he hasn't scored come this, I would be looking to buy him out.
Yeah.
It just, if he's that much of a flop, at some point you got to cut your losses. I hope it doesn't happen that way, Luis. I really want him to figure it out and come alive and start scoring goals, because I think he could. It could happen.
No,
it's not like he's completely terrible. We're just not seeing any like end product.
Look, Kara, how long did we wait on? I mean, Kara was scoring more goals than Muriel, so but people were fed up of him. People didn't like him. He shushed everybody. He went like this: "Cállate, cállate, carajo," went like that, right? And and then obviously, they got him out of here, and now he's in Turkey. He's in another team. I think he has only like 4 or 5 goals scored. Now, they waited for him a whole season. Right? They waited for him a whole season. So I really don't think, knowing how Orlando kind of makes those signings, I think they're going to ride with Puriel until maybe next year. And then
that's where I'd be like, then you have to buy another striker, because you can't, like, either you gotta ship him out and be like, it didn't work, sorry buddy, like we're gonna have to find, replace your DP slot with another DP, or you're gonna have to step Jap Bling up and hope you find another young cheap striker to fill in Duncan's wages, because like we've got some wiggle room in the budget, Luis, but we don't have like all the player slots. They're opening out, like we could potentially get a new U22. So another young striker would be the option there. But I really don't want to. I really hope we don't get to the summer transfer window, Luis, and he still hasn't scored a goal. Knock on wood. As much as we joke and are frustrated by Luis Muriel, I really desperately want this man to score a goal soon.
Yeah, right here, look.
It's just depressing that he has not.
So we have literally 3 DPs.
Yeah.
We have Muriel, Ojeda, and Facu Torres. Those are our 3 DPs. Now, Galese is not considered a DP because he's a TAM player. Terry allocation money. Which his contract is through 2024. Option year is 2025. Depends on Pedro if he wants to stay. I have a feeling, and I know what I'm going to say is controversial, but you may look. I have a feeling he wants to stay in the United States. So you either may see him renew him, or if he reads all your comments online, we may see him with a Portland Timbers jersey or a LA Galaxy or LAFC. I don't think he'll play second fiddle to Lloris, but
I think if we don't pick up his option, then he'll go on the MLS, waiver wire, as it were. You get someone that pick him up contracts,
and someone's gonna pick him up.
Somebody will. let's see at the end of the year, Luis, where we're at with Pedro. This might be the end of Pedro. Like, it might be that he's not going to be ever the Pedro that he was of other years. Like, if we're the end of this year and he's still not the guy, then
I agree.
I think we should let him go because of the amount of money he's on more than anything.
No,
Like, he's
yeah,
a very expensive
makes
keeper in this league.
yeah,
So,
he's one of the most expensive keepers in the MLS. He
and
makes
if he's
over
not
$1 million.
performing at that level, then he has to go. So at
He
the end of the
makes
year,
over.
if he's not back to the Pedro we know, then he should go.
I have a feeling that more than likely, I mean, based on what I know, it's that, or depending on how this season goes, or I think Orlando's going to want to keep definitely Pedro, but I just think they're going to maybe offer him less based on what, if this season we don't either win anything or make the playoffs or things like that, obviously, right? Or another team may scoop him up. I mean, that's just. But anyways, let's go ahead and close the pod today. I want to thank John for being here with me today. Let's read a few comments real quick here. Yeah, we have Pride tickets to give away, right, John?
Yeah, we got 2 Pride tickets for Sunday's game against Racing Louisville. So if you haven't checked out the Pride, come see a game Sunday, 6:00. We're going to put it out on social tomorrow. So an opportunity for you to win 2 tickets in Section 5, which is the lower bowl for Pride game on Sunday. So come check out the women and how well they're doing.
All right. We will have another giveaway, more than likely for Columbus tickets, that I will talk to John about later on. Thanks to Brendan Kravitz from the Zone Heads. So we'll be more again for the Orlando Columbus game at home at the end of May. So we'll have information about that later on as well. Just check out all of our social media outlets. We are available as LPO_podcast on X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And also you can find us on audio form in Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Let's wish Orlando City a May the 4th be with you. I know it's going to be a tough game, but like always, guys, vamos Orlando, right?
Vamos Orlando.
Take care, guys.